Today we're going to look at a game of PieLieDie playing Nature's Prophet position 5, and we're going to talk about why Prophet fits so well into aggressive lineups.
Lessons that cannot be unlearned.
Welcome to the Judge of Obelisk. My name is Yon. So he summoned Treants at the 58-second mark before the horn, and this gives him enough time to run forwards here and have two sets of Treants to fight over this rune and secure that rune, because it's very hard actually to fight against 4 Treants. Very few heroes actually strong enough to just stand up to that punishment at the start. And Centaur's better than most, but still doesn't have that much armor, despite that ring of protection. So right away he's just gonna harass people, and his role in this lane is just going to keep those heroes busy and allow the Ricky to just get much better last hits. So this is even easier if you're fighting against ranged heroes because they don't have that damage block, but melee heroes have on average 8 damage block, which means those Treants actually deal 1/3 less damage against melee heroes. That's a pretty big deal, but still you can see he's doing some good work against Pango. You primarily want to hit the Pango and not the Centaur, because of course Centaur has that retaliate, which gives him damage if from those stacks, and he's also reflecting damage onto your hero and your Treants. So primarily you want to hit the Pango. Also this Pango is already quite low in region, and so this constant harassment here from Nature's Prophet has allowed our friend the Ricky to get a sizable lead in CS. You see he's 12 and 6, whereas the Centaur only has 5. So some aggression here, not really successful. But you just want to trade here, you want to use up your mana, your HP, and then you can just TP home. So he's done everything he could, and now he's just going to TP back home and pick up some items. Also sees a Tango dropped here, even though it's already starting teleporting. You can just cancel that, and he's still gonna have the cooldown. So he brings the Ricky, a set of Tangos here, as well as picking up some more region for himself, as well as starting on a Bracer. So Bracer was chained, of course, in the last patch to give 1 less to all stats, but also give plus 3 damage and plus 75 HP region. Also removed the magic resistance, but it's actually a pretty good item on Prophet. It gives you as much damage as a Null Talisman does, and compared to the Null you're losing the spell, which is not too relevant on Prophet, but you're gaining some extra tankiness. So he's TPing now top to join this fight. Of course you always want to look around the map and there's fighting as Prophet, see if you can change the outcome of the fight, and you can TP in there. And Ricky is going to be fine here on his own for a while, especially since the Pango is also at top. So nice diving a bit deep, and it's tempting here. Pango is really low, but actually with this arm here, he's going to survive this, and PieLieDie ends up feeding a little bit, but it's not the biggest deal. He also got a bunch of space here, so that's kind of what you want to do as Prophet. But of course you wouldn't not feed like that if you can help it. Once again, Pango survives in a sliver of HP, so not really successful in aggression here. But they are successful in just allowing this Ricky to have an easy time in this lane. He's already way ahead in the CS. He is doing really well, and the Centaur just really far behind. And now they're gonna go on him with the Treant blocks. This is going to be a kill. So the way you do this, the way you mark this, is just you right click with your hero and then you just control those creeps. And from all this harassment, Centaur has been forced to go into a very defensive build. He's gone into Ring of Health and double Ring of Protection, now going for the Vanguard. Now he's, but this just doesn't really allow him to contest the Ricky. Ricky just can do whatever he wants, so Centaur is trying to cut the wave, but now with Batrider coming in, together with Nature's Prophet, they can very easily get this kill with a lasso. You see Batrider waiting a little bit, seeing if they can maybe get the kill without the lasso, but they couldn't, so we used the lasso to make sure. And now you can just do a little bit of jungling here, that's fine. No one needs you right now. Ricky is fine on his own here, top is fine, Tiny's getting farm. Wind Ranger is doing okay. She's pretty even here in this lane against Lycan. You can always just use Wind Run to get out of sticky situations against Lycan. So at this point you can just chill a little bit, but try to go on Lycan here, but without the lasso and Shadow Shot not latching, this is not going to work out. So that was a pretty bad rotation here. After respawning, went straight into the mid lane. The reason for that is that Lycan has used his ultimate, so he can't really fight. But the Pango here is level 6 and now he can fight, so we're rolling on to PieLieDie. He's going to try to escape here by using this nice street block, which is a good play, but it's not enough. He's still going to die. And also the Faceless Void here gets a pretty good chrono trying to save the Lycan. It's not going to help him with that, but this Bat Rider is also eventually going to be run down. So this fight's not really too successful, even though there was no Lycan ultimate. And now it's around 9-10 minutes at this point. As the carry, you probably don't want to be in bottom lane anymore. This has now become the dead lane. You don't really want to play here if you want to save farm. But if you're a position 5 prophet, you can farm here. So, because it's just not as important if you die. But they also find this Bat Rider initiation here. With Boots of Travel, you can come in here and just run people down. He's just so much faster than everyone else. He moves at 500 movement speed. Okay, now it's 440. But yeah, he just outruns everyone. And now they try to fight here with the Pango, but Pango has to roll away. But with Lycan now coming in, using his ultimate, PieLieDie is going to die here, but that's actually fine. Unfortunately also the Tiny dying. But like, if you have Lycan use his ultimate just to kill the position 5 support, that's not a bad situation to be in. Batter doing some crazy plays here. I'm not sure what he's trying to find here. And PieLieDie wisely does not try to help him. He could teleport in here or something, but that is not going to do anything here. So he's just going to have to watch him die. And instead, he's going to take the mid tower. This is much more important. It's very important to realize when you can turn fights around and when you can't. And even though you support, doesn't mean you have to die with your cores. There's joint fights that are winnable, not just any fight that's happening. So because there's no fight happening right now, he's going to go and farm a little bit here. And that is completely fine. You don't have to be always fighting as Prophet. You can find some farm here. He's also placed some wards here, tried some dewarding, and now you're just going to gently farm this camp here. Maiden coming in here, dewarding that sentry, but she doesn't find the real ward. Batter has just been gone on by a lot of heroes, so as Prophet you can't really help him here. So what you do is just go to top. You see everyone bottom, so top is fairly safe, so you can just push in that wave, but he's not going to stay for very long. Just going to do this one wave and then just send his Treants onwards while his hero goes back. If you just keep going here, you're definitely going to die. And yes, as position 5 Prophet is not as bad to die as it would be as a core Prophet, but still you don't want to feed. By the way, look at that beautiful warding. You have a ward here, you see a ward here, and since you want to deward is placed just in between those two. And this is a pretty common sentry, and these two sentries give you so much vision. Like, this is the area you want to play in. As Radiant, you want to play in this area. So this is where you want to place the wards, just outside of all the vision, outside of output vision, outside of sentry vision. This is great warding, and that's of course one of the perks of Nature's Prophet as a support, that you can just get into spots that other supports would find harder to do, because you can just teleport there, and you're often just sort of in unusual spots. Makes it a lot harder for the enemy to deward you. So let's talk a bit about items. Started out with a Blightstone, which you always want to do on Nature's Prophet. Just a very efficient item that just really helps out your own right clicks and your Treants, which he since upgraded into a Medallion, which is a very efficient item in the current patch. It was reduced in cost a lot over the last couple of patches. Also, the mana region has been increased recently, so this is just a really efficient item, and an item I think that's pretty much core on support Prophet. He's also, of course, gone for a stick, nothing unusual about that. Bracer, I talked about that already, it just gives a good amount of damage and just some extra tankiness. The HP region is not the greatest, but on the whole, this is probably the best of these 3 stat items on Prophet currently, at least if you're not playing him as more of a right clicker. If you're playing him as like a core and go more for a right click, you might consider the Wraith Band instead, because the attack speed is quite nice. But here we're worried about being bursted and so on, so the Bracer is great. And then he's gone for Treads. Treads just really efficient item, and even though you're support, you still sort of care about right clicks, so the attack speed is nice, and just a nice item for like early game fighting and just being efficient in those fights. And then he's now going for a Vlad. That's of course a pretty strong aura item in the current patch, also great with the Treants, gives him a nice bunch of bonus damage. He's just trying to save his friend here, but Wind Ranger unfortunately is going to fall, but he's also makes it away. So as Prophet, the good thing about Prophet as a support is that he can just farm really well, much better than most supports. But the disadvantage is that you just don't contribute very much to team fights. Your ultimate is kind of nice, but other than that, you don't have that much impact on team fights. So you want to compensate for that by just buying items that allow you to have impact on team fights. And so these utility items, aura items, like the Medallion and the Vlads are very strong. Of course, other items also possible. You can go for a mech, for example, very strong. You can go for a pipe. You can go, if you're lacking disable, you can get something like an ATOS. There's just a lot of items you can go for. You can go for 4-staff. Lots of possibilities for item builds here. There's him dewarding here, and the way he does this is he places the Sentry Ward here, not on the cliff but near it, and then he's going to use his Sprout to get vision up here. And this just allows him to get better ward coverage, all these wards that will be landed here. So if you plant it up here, you're only going to find the wards on the ice spot, because no one is ever going to place a ward within that circle, because it just gets dewarded by the ice spot deward anyway. So this just catches a lot more wards than warding up here. That's also another benefit of having Prophet as a support. It's always nice to have a support that can give this high ground vision to just allow for better dewarding. Even though PieLieDie is 0-5, he's still having good impact in this game. He's participated in many fights, and his net worth is quite strong. He has 5k net worth, much more than all the other supports here. You can see Lycan coming in, just immediately TPs out, and nothing that Lycan can do about that. A very smart play here, because Crystal Maiden was lagging behind, and there's no bash or anything on Lycan. Once again, dewarding here with that same trick, using Sprout for uphill vision, and this also catches wards that are placed here, for example, like this one that he just placed himself, and now he's gonna come join his team. They're gonna get this pick off on Crystal Maiden, and a fight is possibly going to develop, but he walks uphill here against his Lycan. That is a bit bold, but Lycan is kind of on his own. So even though Lycan is very strong, he's very farmed, easily the strongest hero on the map right now, he's still going to lose this fight and has to retreat in disgrace while the Pangolier dies for his sins. And Prophet now able to escape here from the zoo, and is almost done with his Vlads, and this just allows his team to play higher tempo Dota. Just having all that region is quite nice. This allows you to keep fighting after, or keep pushing after one fight. So we're doing Roshan right now, and for that, of course, the items that PieLieDie has gone for are pretty much ideal. You have the Medallion to help up with the Rosh, which you should be casting on Roshan. No, there we go. Then he also has the Vlads, which allows his team to sustain and not get too low while they're doing Roshan. So Roshan is claimed, and they can now just keep going. See down here, trying to help out his Batrider, but he sees is not fruitful, there's no way you can help him, so he just aborts the teleport and instead goes to the top. You saw all the heroes bottom, so top is safe. Very straightforward play here. And Prophet is just like a really strong hero in these kinds of lineups. You see, this Radiant lineup is just very aggressive. If all these aggressive pick-off heroes, Wind Ranger can easily solo kill people. You have Ricky who can do these pick-offs. But often just one of these heroes is not quite enough to get the kill. Nice thing about Nature's Prophet is you can always just offer this +1. Always use your ultimate, you can always teleport in and just help out. And here in this fight, he's just gonna die. And yeah, I'm not sure what the plan is here. You just stayed here too long, and you want to push in these lanes, but you just can't just keep staying there forever. You have to like push in like one lane, then just send in your Treants and back off. So they lose both supports here, and meanwhile Wind Ranger with her Aegis trying to play way out of this. They get the Faceless Void, so that's very nice, and Sentinel are also in trouble. So all of them now slowly joining the fight actually turns around, and they are able to win this fight with the Aegis. So on the whole, they won here. Good network swing here. But like the start of that fight was a bit goofy here with both the supports just being caught out here. And now you see some more split pushing here from PieLieDie. It's going to try to get this tier 1 tower in bottom. This is the hardest to push tier 1 tower and also the least rewarding. But it still, of course, gives a good amount of gold. There's a fight going on here in this very unfavorable position here in the enemy triangle. It's not really where you're going to fight. So you see PieLieDie teleporting in here defensively and not going too deep. But now that the Lycan ultimate has expired, they can get the kill here onto Lycan. And Faceless Void also being caught out here and killed, unable to use BKB. So they just chase too long here on the Dire side, and it's always one of the downsides of playing Lycan that if you don't get the kill immediately and the fight drags on, the ultimate just runs out and then you're just really weak. So Prophet now TPing back home. He was low on HP and mana, picks up some wards, and will now be able to rejoin in anything that they want to do. And this is what I was talking about. It's always just getting this +1 here from the Nature's Prophet, so they're able to get this kill without having to expend Lasso. Of course, also with the Ricky coming in. But if you had been willing to use Lasso, they probably could have gotten the kill even without Ricky. And that's just what's so strong about Prophet. He always just offer that +1, and they just have this lineup of just all these heroes that are just good at picking off people. You know, Bad Rider can pick off people, Ricky can pick off people, Tiny can pick off people with his Blink Dagger, but like Tiny is never going to be able to solo kill anyone. But if you have Nature's Prophet teleporting in, if you have Bad Rider teleporting in, because you can also teleport onto the Treants that Prophet summons, if no regular creeps are nearby. Then you also have Wind Ranger with her Focus Fire and with her Orchid. Can also kill people on her own, but sometimes you just need some extra help, and that is what Nature's Prophet can offer. Solar Crest now complete. Solar Crest really strong item here. Always cast it on the Ricky, just spam it on him. He really appreciates having extra attack speed and just extra armor and movement speed. Allows him to chase everyone down, and it's just like a really efficient item. It gives your carry so much extra attack speed, especially, and the armor and movement speed is also nice. So enemy team will finally take down this tier 1 tower. Of course, a very important tower to take, and if you haven't taken the tower yet, then the game is just not really playable. And now we see Sensor abandoning the game. So yeah, now the game is suddenly just over. And I mean, even if it doesn't abandon here, it's still just like a really favorable game for Radiant. They are very far ahead. They have so much net worth here. So now they're all just gonna disconnect, no one leaving the game here, and everyone else gonna follow soon. So this is just one way of playing Nature's Prophet. One of the big strengths of the hero is that she's so flexible. You can play him in any position, and you can buy a lot of different items depending on what your team needs. And here in this game, these items just allow them to play very high tempo DotA and just have a big advantage. And being able to just find pickoffs everywhere. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and tell your friends about this channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe and ring the bell. And before we go, watch this video about playing Latest Prophet as a mid laner in a more carry-ish kind of style. And all is willing, I'll see you there.